सत श्री अकाल एंड वेलकम टू CJ सिद्धू शो। जिस तरह तुहानूं पता ही है कि एवरी थर्सडे असीं थोड़ी गल कराई दी किसी पॉलिटिशियन नाल, कम्यूनिटी एक्टिविस्ट नाल या किसी मैडिकल डॉक्टर नाल, सो ताकि वध तो वध थोड़े तक इनफॉर्मेशन पहुँचाई जा सके। जिस तरह तुहानूं पता ही है कि बड़ी सीरीयस कंडीशनस बनी है लेटली फ्लडिंग दे नाल सिचुएशन जिहड़ी है, लॉट ऑफ पीपल वी लॉस्ट 5 people unfortunately, and our thoughts and prayers goes with those families, and the supply chain is disturbed. ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, the provincial government doing their best to fix the problem, but it's a very, very serious problem. We lost a lot of livestock, a lot of animals, you know, the poultry farms, like a devastation to the next level. So ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ closely attention pay ਕਰਨੀ ਪੈਣੀ ਹੈ. As the government is saying, if it's not essential, please don't travel. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਪਲਾਈ ਚੇਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟਰੱਕਸ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਪਲਾਈ ਚੇਨ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਸ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਨਾ ਪਵੇ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਐਮਰਜੈਂਸੀ ਹੈ, ਕੋਈ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਐਸੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਜਾਣਾ, ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਨਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਨਵਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਹੈ ਓਮੀਕਰੋਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਸਾਊਥ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਇਆ, ਹਾਂਗਕਾਂਗ ਸਾਊਥ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਕਰਕੇ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ COVID-19 ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਕੇਸਿਸ ਆ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਡੈਲਟਾ ਵੇਰੀਐਂਟ ਸੀਗਾ, ਨਾਓ ਇਸ ਓਮੀਕਰੋਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਸੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਵਿਜੀਲੈਂਟ ਤੇ ਕੇਅਰਫੁਲ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ that's why you got your vaccination done. If you have one, make sure the second one is done. Make sure to have a flu shot, and if you are entitled able for a booster shot, make sure you do that, because ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਇਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਚਾਅ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ। ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਐਡਵਾਈਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਾਇੰਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਨਾ ਕਿ ਰਿਊਮਰ ਮਿਲਸ ਐਂਡ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਲੋਕੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸੁਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਨੇ ਓਮੀਕਰੋਨ ਦੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਨਾਲ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟੈਸਟਿੰਗ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਵਿਦਿਨ 24 ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸੀਗਾ 72 hours, ਨਾਓ ਯੂ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ ਹੈਵ ਏ ਐਵੀਡੈਂਸ ਦੈਟ you have a negative test within 24 hours. That will be implemented by next week. So ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, make sure you are very careful. And ਅੱਜ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਆ, ਆਪਾਂ ਸਰੀ 'ਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੋਸਟ ਵਸਨੀਕ ਹੈ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਐਂਡ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਡਗ ਮਕਲਮ ਅੱਜ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹਨ। Mayor McCallum don't need a big introduction. Everybody knows him. As you know, before mayor now, he served 3 terms from 96 to 2005 and left a surplus budget of $300 million behind. So he's a very financially prudent mayor and running a city like a business. And then he created a new team as a Save Surrey coalition, and they were started the Surrey city in November 5th as an inauguration in 2018. And ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ 3 ਵੱਡੇ ਮੈਂਡੇਟ ਸੀ, LRT ਨੂੰ ਕੈਂਸਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਕਾਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਐਂਡ ਸਕਾਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਨੂੰ ਲੈਂਗਲੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ। ਦੂਜਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ RCMP ਦਾ ਕੌਂਟਰੈਕਟ ਕੈਂਸਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਨਾ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਬਿਗ ਸਿਟੀਜ਼ ਕੋਲੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਲੋਕਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਐਂਡ ਦਾ ਥਰਡ ਵਨ ਸੀਗਾ ਰੈਪਿਡ ਐਕਸਪੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਆਫ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟਰਕਚਰ ਐਂਡ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਮਾਰਟ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਇਹ 3 ਵੱਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੋਲ ਸੀਗੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਊਗੀ, ਉਹ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੈ। Mayor McCallum, welcome to CJ Sidhu show.
Well, thank you, CJ. It's nice to be back on your show.
So it's always pleasure. You can start with just addressing our viewers the state of the Surrey city and where we are right now. What are the key messages to start with?
Well, first of all, I just would like to say our heart goes out to our neighbors. Surrey's right beside the Fraser Valley, and you mentioned on the floods and everything. And I just want to congratulate a lot of our residents. They came together. They provided food. They actually flew food out in helicopters up to the people that were caught in the floods. The city actually sent some equipment up, and we also loaned them 10 of our Surrey police officers up there because to help them out. And so our heart does go out, and I hope everything gets a little better. It actually is getting better today with the rain stopping. The city of Surrey is just such a dynamic, energized state right now. People are coming from all over the world to live in our city. We're the fastest growing city in Canada right now. We have 1,500 new people every month coming into our city. We're the most multicultural city in Canada. And you know, that's what makes our city so great, is the fact that we have cultures from all over the world that come together to work and live in our city, and we learn from those cultures. All of our community learns from the different cultures, and I look at Surrey as a fabric. If you picture just a fabric, and with the threads that intertwine and to keep the fabric strong, each thread has to be strong. And that's all I look at, all the different cultures, and we learn from each other. If we take time to just learn, we can have a great life in any city in the world, and that's what we're doing in Surrey. Surrey's turned around in the last few years. We have companies that are coming in record numbers right now. We have universities that are coming to Surrey. UBC, which is one of the largest universities in Canada, has just announced a big campus that they're going to build in Surrey. We already have a campus in Simon Fraser University. And so what's happening with Surrey, as people are coming and wanting to live and work in Surrey, universities are coming because we also are a city of families. We're a young city, and a lot of families are coming, and we're moving very quickly. We were very fortunate with COVID-19 when it hit us. It hit all the cities literally in the world. But in our city, we went to the government and we said we wanted to address COVID-19. People have to get vaccinated. We want to make sure everyone is vaccinated. We're at right now close to over 90% of our residents are vaccinated. And we need to even encourage the extra 10. But what we said, we didn't want to shut down, as a lot of cities did. We went to the government and we said, let's declare emergency so that our construction can continue in our city. And that was because we wanted to keep the jobs going under COVID. And rather than shutting down, we actually increased the building of our city by working under emergency conditions, following all the rules of COVID-19 and keeping distances. But we kept our workers in Surrey. Our population is 600,000 people right now, and we wanted to keep all those people working because we have a huge amount of carpenters and laborers and so forth, and they needed to do. So we've done that, and we've come through the worst of it so far.
So मेरी गल चल रही है मेरे McCallum नाल. So इन्हां नाल गलबात शुरू हुई. इन्हां ने कहा सब तो पहला दा फ्रेजर वैली अपने नेबर्स है. उन्हां ने जिहड़ा होया इन्हां ने कहा my heart goes out to those people because they are our neighbors. And इस दे नाल नाल जिहड़े अपने उत्थे हेल्प पहुंची है, हैलीकाप्टर दे थ्रू फूड पहुंचाया गया है. ਤੇ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਦੇ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਫੀਸਰਸ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਲੈਂਡ ਕੀਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ. ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਫਾਸਟੈਸਟ ਗਰੋਇੰਗ ਸਿਟੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ. 6 ਲੱਖ ਇੱਥੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, 600,000 ਪਾਪੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਐਂਡ 1,500 people, new people are moving every month. Think about that. So ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮਤਲਬ the most vibrant city. ਤੇ ਮੈਂ always ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ words ਜਿਹੜੇ summarize ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, not word to word. I don't translate word to word, Mayor. I just summarize what you said because otherwise most of the time will be gone on the translation. Yeah. And we don't want to get lost in the translation. So ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਹੁਤ positive things happen ਹੋਣ ਲੱਗੀਆਂ. UBC campus ਦਾ huge investment coming to the Surrey, and ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ SFU ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ already ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ. And ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ roughly about 90% people are vaccinated, fully vaccinated in Surrey, and ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਏ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕਰਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ even during COVID-19 handle it very well, and ਪਰ ਪੂਰਾ ਸ਼ਟਡਾਊਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਕੰਸਟਰਕਸ਼ਨ. ਫਿਰ ਵੀ with the due respect and with all the protocols, ਕੰਸਟਰਕਸ਼ਨ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੀ ਰਹੀ ਸੋ ਇਹ ਬੜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਹੈ ਸੋ that's very good to know Mayor McCallum that there is a lot of positive things happening as you said that lot of new big company and business are coming here. Let's start with the Surrey police because that issue was there was a petition signed, there was not enough people. Where we are at, and or if it's all approved by provincial government, and if all the cars are ready and we are ready to go on the road, tell the status of Surrey Police.
Well, I'd be glad to. We campaigned, our team, the Safe Surrey Coalition, which is a team that I belong to, campaigned on about 3 years ago on changing the police in the city of Surrey. We've had RCMP for many years. The RCMP have done a good job in Surrey. But Surrey has outgrown the RCMP. We're the last big city in Canada. We're the 12th largest city in Canada. We're the last big city that doesn't have our own police force. And the reason we want to change is we want our police not to be transferred all the time every 2 years out. We want them to live in our community, work in our community, be proactive in our community so that they can make our community and make our residents feel a lot safer. So we made the decision to change. We had 800 RCMP officers. We will be changing all over completely within 2 years from now. So at the end of 2023, we will completely change over the 800 officers to our own Surrey Police officers. Currently, we have just put 29 of our own officers out patrolling our streets last week. They're doing it with the RCMP for the first year. And each month we'll be putting out 25 or 30 new officers. Our officers will go out. They will be into our cars and will be patrolling our streets along with the RCMP. So in the first year, we will change over 400 of the RCMP to our own Surrey Police. And then we will be, our police chief then, which we've already hired, will be the police chief in charge in Surrey for the second year, which we'll change the final 400 over to our own police force. It's a very exciting time to see them on the streets. People are happy to see them, and we're progressing very, very quickly. What it has done already is the perception of the change, because we are also changing a model of policing in our city. We're changing the way police forces around the world have always operated. So I get calls from all over the world of the new process. The new way we're going to do it is going to be a proactive community policing. We're going to be in our communities listening to what they how they feel they want the community safe. We have just finished Canada's largest consulting with our community on what our community wants the police to do for safety. And so that is what we're going to go on as far as our new police. And they want our community policing. They want to see our police in the community. They want to see our police at soccer games, at sports games. They want to be working with that. So it's a very, very exciting time with having our first 30 new officers out on our street patrolling as I'm sitting here tonight.
ਸੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੈ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੀਏ ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵਰਸੀ RCMP ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਕਨਫਿਊਜ਼ਨ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਲੜਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਅੰਡਰ ਸੇਫ ਸਰੀ ਕੋਲੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਅੰਡਰ ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਨ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਮੈਂਡੇਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਬਈ ਇਹ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਲਾਰਜੈਸਟ ਸਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਿ ਆਪਦੀ ਲੋਕਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀ and they said they served their good time while we're there 800 RCMP officer ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ over 3 years by 2023 ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਰਿਪਲੇਸ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਅਬਾਊਟ 29-30 ਆਫੀਸਰਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਸਟਰੀਟਸ ਤੇ ਆ ਗਏ ਹੈ ਤੇ RCMP ਨਾਲ ਕੋਆਰਡੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਇਹ ਐਡ ਕਰਕੇ 400 ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਫੀਸਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਬਾਈ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਈਅਰ then they will by 2023 there will be add another 400 and then my question will be first of all how the officers are now working with the RCMP, how that relationship is number one, and moving forward totally becoming a Surrey police. How's the relationship right now and moving forward? Roughly about how many people left RCMP and came to Surrey Police? Any average numbers?
Well, we currently have hired 150 of our own police officers in the Surrey Police. And out of the 150, there was 20 RCMP that moved over. The other 130 were from all different police forces across Canada. We actually have 12 to 15 from Europe that have come over to join our police. And because we're doing a different model in policing, and so they want to be part of the change in Surrey. And so we haven't had any problem in getting officers to want to come and work in Surrey. And so how we're doing it is, as we bring officers on in Surrey, then we let go the same number of RCMP so that our budgets are always balanced. So 29 new officers came on the street 3 days ago. 29 RCMP officers came off. And they went to other RCMP detachments around the country. And so that's how we're going to balance it out as we go forward to eventually, it's like a teeter-totter, to eventually it'll be all our own Surrey police officers. They're working very well together. We have 2 police chiefs, but they had a press conference 2 days ago. They got along. The officers are getting along, working together because they're all want to make our city safe. They want the community to be safe, so they're working together.
And plus a nice, clean transition.
Right, exactly. Yeah, cooperation, and both police services are cooperating.
So ਮੈਂ ਮੇਅਰ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ RCMP ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਦੇ ਆਰ ਵਰਕਿੰਗ ਟੁਗੇਦਰ ਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਰਕਿੰਗ ਵੈਰੀ ਵੈਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਸ 'ਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕਲ ਜਿਵੇਂ 150 ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਆਫੀਸਰ ਹਾਇਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ 'ਚੋਂ 20 ਜਿਹੜੇ RCMP ਤੋਂ ਆਏ ਹੈ ਐਂਡ 130 ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਫੋਰਸਿਸ ਤੋਂ ਐਂਡ ਈਵਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ 12 ਔਰ 13 ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਯੂਰਪ ਤੋਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਫੋਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਾਡਲ ਆ ਪੁਲਿਸਿੰਗ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਹੋਣਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਐਕਟਿਵ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਬੇਸਡ ਪੁਲਿਸਿੰਗ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਆਫੀਸਰ ਹੈ ਆਮ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਚਰ ਸਕਣ ਹਾਕੀ ਗੇਮ ਤੇ ਸਾਕਰ ਗੇਮ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਜਾ ਸਕਣ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਬਣਨ ਸੋ ਦੈਟਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਇੰਟਰਸਟਿੰਗ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਪੀਪਲ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਬੀ ਨੋਇੰਗ that they are there to protect them, to keep the Surrey city streets safe, and that way they should be a part of the community.
Yeah, well, we want to make sure that they live in the community. The majority of them live, and so they're soccer dads or soccer moms, and they're just like any other ordinary citizen, although they're trained as police officers. We also are going to put school liaison officers in our schools so that we can work in our schools and make sure that that the kids in the school, if they have any questions or any safety items in the community, that they can come and talk to the school liaison officers, and by that way we can encourage our youth to be active in things so that they aren't hanging around or want to join gangs or anything. And so we're going to put a big emphasis on that. And under the consulting part that we did in our community, one of the number one areas that our public want to do is see school liaison working with our kids so that they make sure that they don't join gangs or happen to go down not a good path. So we're excited about that program because we think it will help with our youth. And again, we're a city we're a very, very young city, and we're a city of families. We have the largest number of youth in Canada as a major city, which we have with a population of 600,000. So we want to protect that. We want to be sure that they're safe in our community.
ਸੋ ਮੇਅਰ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਜੀ ਵੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਆਫੀਸਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਦੇ ਵੈਰੀ ਵੈਲ ਵਰਕਿੰਗ ਟੁਗੈਦਰ। ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਕੂਲਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੇਜ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਫੀਸਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਿਯੁਕਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਆਰਡੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਯੂਥ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਆ ਕੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਗੈਂਗ ਐਂਡ ਡਰੱਗਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਨਾ ਜਾਣ। ਐਂਡ ਦੈਟ ਆਈ ਵਾਜ਼ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਟੂ ਬਾਈ ਦ ਵੇ I'm talking to Mayor of Surrey, Mr. Daug McCallum. Our phone lines are open. If you have any question to Mayor McCallum, please feel free to call us. Our phone numbers are running on our screen, 604-695-9555. We have 800 number. We have a number from India. International numbers are on our screen. So ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ question ਹੈਗਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ directly ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। So that was about to talk about, the good model is our neighbors. Delta Police is very effective at, working on not too much drug and not too many gangs and stuff, because they look locally, they stay on that. If any stranger comes, they are there. The cruiser is appointed to, kick them out of their, or very similar model, or you're looking at a different models to be, have the name Delta Police have?
Well, no, it's going to be a model very similar to Delta. In fact, our police chief is from Delta.
Oh, yeah. That's right, yeah.
So the model is going to be fairly similar. And it's a good model. It's a model that, if people have a complaint or if they want to phone the police actually come and help the community and so forth. And again, that's a proactive approach towards policing. And so, yes, it'll be very similar to Delta Police.
So, ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀ, ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ neighbor ਹੈਗਾ Delta Police, that worked very well. And I totally forgot because they said the chief of the Surrey Police is one of the police officer, deputy actually chief that appointed, and he will be running the police. So, similar model. ਜਿਵੇਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਮਾਡਲ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਡੈਲਟਾ ਦੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ they did a great job of with the drugs and gangs, and there is always challenges, but they did a great job. Let's move on. So this is a good news. It's a done deal.
It's a done deal.
There is no reason to now still there is small people creating all those kind of, is any validity left to those signing those applications and doing this and that? Is
no, the provincial government and the federal government and of course the municipal council have all said very clearly in large majorities that we're going to make the change. The change is done. We've been given approval both by the province and the federal government. So we're moving on. My belief very strongly is that people do have a right to complain and ask questions, as long as they're polite and respectful, and because that's what a democratic country is like. But we as Surrey is always moving forward. We're not looking back. We don't believe on any programs, even the ones beyond the police, looking back. We listen to the people. We get elected based on what we're going to do, and then we move forward, because that's why the people elect politicians, and that's our belief. And so what I did yesterday, it doesn't faze me. I'm moving ahead. I'm looking what I'm going to do tonight, what I'm going to do tomorrow, and to help the people of Surrey. And that's how we are moving these very big projects forward at a very fast rate.
So ਮੈਂ ਮੇਅਰ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਡੈਲਟਾ ਦੇ ਮਾਡਲ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਯੈਸ ਇਟ ਵਿਲ ਬੀ ਵੈਰੀ ਸਿਮਿਲਰ ਬਟ ਇਟ ਵਿਲ ਬੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਐਕਟਿਵ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਪਲੇਂਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਦੈਟ ਵਿਲ ਬੀ ਲਿਸਨਡ ਐਂਡ ਵਿਲ ਬੀ ਇੰਪਲੀਮੈਂਟਡ। ਪਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਪਿੱਛਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਾਸਟ ਆ ਉਧਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਦਾ, ਵੀ ਆਰ ਮੂਵਿੰਗ ਫਾਰਵਰਡ ਹੀ ਸੈਡ, ਐਂਡ ਮੂਵਿੰਗ ਵੈਰੀ ਫਾਸਟ। ਮਤਲਬ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਸਿਟੀ 'ਚ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਟਸ ਅ ਬਿਗ ਸਿਟੀ ਐਂਡ ਅ ਬਿਗ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟਸ। ਹੈਵਿੰਗ ਸੈਡ ਦੈਟ, ਵੇਅਰ ਇਜ਼ ਆਵਰ ਸਕਾਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ project stands at this point?
Well, our SkyTrain is also moving ahead very, very quickly. We actually started the construction around it already, which is very, very fast. The provincial government and the federal government are funding it to the tune of $3 billion. It's a 17-kilometer SkyTrain, which is a fair distance. It actually goes into Langley from Surrey. We're already starting the construction on the pre-work that has to be done. For example, the road that will sit underneath the SkyTrain, Fraser Highway, we have just completely repaved it. And the posts for holding the SkyTrain up will be in the middle of the road. So we had to redo the road. We made Fraser Highway, which has always been 2 lanes, we made it 4 lanes. We just finished it last week. There's another part of Fraser Highway that we are going to start construction on next week. We're working with Telus and Hydro to move their power lines and so forth, because that's where SkyTrain is going. And the provincial government is working very hard, day and night, with a very large group to finish the design of SkyTrain all the way to Langley. We were going to do it in 2 stages, but we decided to do it in 1 stage. It saves time and it also saves money by doing it in 1 stage. In other words, we're going to build it all the way from our city center in Surrey all the way out to the city center in Langley. Again, I said it was 17 kilometers. And we're going to build it as one project, and that will save money. It will save 2 years on the time to finish it. So we're really excited. We're moving ahead in the stages that we have to move on. We're going to be up and seeing it running in about a year's time. It takes from when it gets built about when it's absolutely finished, it will take about 2 or 3 years to build, but we have to do testing of it for about a half year. And what they do is they put sandbags in it and they test it to make sure it's safe and so forth. So people can expect it to be finished in about 4 years.
So मैं मेयर ਨੂੰ SkyTrain ਬਾਰੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰੀਏ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਹੈ ਮੂਵਿੰਗ ਵੈਰੀ ਨਾਈਸਲੀ। ਫੈਡਰਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ $3 ਬਿਲੀਅਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੈ। 17 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਲੌਂਗ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਇਹ SkyTrain ਬਣਨੀ ਹੈ ਫਰਮ ਸਿਟੀ ਸੈਂਟਰ, ਸਰੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਟੂ ਆਲ ਦਾ ਵੇ ਟੂ ਲੈਂਗਲੀ ਸਿਟੀ। ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਉਹ ਬੜਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਉਸ 'ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ। ਟੈਲਸ ਅਤੇ ਹਾਈਡਰੋ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੋਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਦੀਆਂ ਲਾਈਨਾਂ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਰਿਮੂਵ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਪੈਣੀਆਂ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ 2-3 ਸਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਬਣਨ 'ਚ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਣੇ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਪਹਿਲੇ 6 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਐਟਲੀਸਟ ਬਣਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉੱਥੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਰਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਟਸ ਸੇਫ ਫॉर द ਪਬਲਿਕ ਐਂਡ ਰਫਲੀ ਅਬਾਊਟ 4 years it will be fully up and running.
Yep.
And when it's always come down to budget, either it's Surrey Police or SkyTrain Mayor, always the people concerned about the property taxes. How you're very prudent, you left Surrey with a surplus in a previous term. What our viewers, what is a clear picture about how the money, I know that for SkyTrain project almost $3 billion came provincial and federal government and the Surrey Police, how that will be impacted?
Well, a couple of things. We have always believed that in our 4-year terms that we run in, that at the beginning of the 4 years, we will look at what has to be done in the 4 years. We'll cost it out at that time. And then when we're running in the election, we will tell people what the tax rate's going to be for the next 4 years. Because we believe very strongly, we don't want any surprises. And so, and we want to campaign on what we would do the tax thing. We're not believers in campaigning and then 2 years into campaign changing the tax rate and so forth. So we make commitments when we run for 4 years. What we did 3 years ago now is we said that each year we would not raise taxes any more than the consumer price index. Whatever the consumer price index, which is the gold standard for the inflation rate and the prices that are charged, that's what we would do. So in the first year, the consumer price index was 2.9%. We're one of the lowest cities increase rates, and all of Metro Vancouver has 32 cities, and we're in the bottom third as far as taxes, and in the bottom third about the rate of tax that we do. That's pretty good for the second biggest city in the region with a population of 600,000. So we have continually the past 3 years kept the tax at the consumer price index. Each year it was at 2.9%. So this year, when we're going into it, we just have finished our budget, or just about finished our budget. And again, we're only going to have for next year a tax increase of 2.9%. It's probably close to half of what most of the other cities in Metro are looking at. But we believe very strongly that we run a very, very tight city as far as financially. We win all sorts of national awards on our financial presentation and what we do to keep our taxes down for our residents. And our commitment, and mine always has, in my 15 years as being mayor over those years, have always said that we will run a very efficient, tight fiscal city. And we do get a lot of new revenue, of course, because we have our growth. We have 1,500 people coming in, and that's new people that are going to be paying taxes for us. We say our development that we are doing, and we're in the largest construction development in our history in Surrey, but we also say that has to pay for itself. And development has to also pay for some of the infrastructure that we have. So we have a good model fiscally. We get asked to present that fiscal model all over the world of how we've been able, in a very fast-growing city, in a very high inflation a lot of times, how we can keep a strong fiscal program. But we've been able to do that.
So mayor ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਇਧਰੋਂ ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਲਿਆ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ, ਉਧਰੋਂ ਸਕਾਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹਦਾ ਬਰਡਨ ਹੈ ਟੈਕਸ ਪੇਅਰਸ ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰਟੀ ਟੈਕਸ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ, ਸੋ ਮੇਅਰ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਦੇ ਟਰਾਈ ਟੂ ਡੂ ਇਟ ਕੰਜ਼ਿਊਮਰ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸ ਇੰਡੈਕਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਇਨਫਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਹਿ ਦਈਦਾ, ਇਨਫਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰੇਟ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ. ਸੋ ਰਫਲੀ ਦੈਟਸ ਅਬਾਊਟ 2.9% ਫਸਟ ਸੈਕਿੰਡ ਥਰਡ ਈਅਰ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਆਪਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫੋਰਥ ਈਅਰ ਦੀ ਬਜਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਵੀ ਆਲਮੋਸਟ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ 2.9% ਹੋਊਗਾ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲੋਅਰ ਮੇਨਲੈਂਡ ਹੈ ਇਹ 'ਚ ਅਬਾਊਟ 32 ਸਿਟੀਜ਼ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰੇਟ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਟਮ 3 ਸਿਟੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ. ਸੋ ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਰਨ ਅ ਵੈਰੀ ਟਾਈਟ ਸ਼ਿਪ, ਐਂਡ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰੈਵਨਿਊ ਦਾ ਸੋਰਸ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ 1500 ਪੀਪਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਗਰੋਥ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਨਕਰੀਜ਼ ਨਾਲੇ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇਨਕਰੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਸਰੀ ਮੇਅਰ ਡਗ ਮਕਲਮ ਨਾਲ. ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਫੋਨ ਲਾਈਨਸ ਓਪਨ ਹੈ. ਇਫ ਯੂ ਵਾਂਟ ਟੂ ਕਾਲ ਐਂਡ ਆਸਕ ਹਿਮ ਏ question, you're most welcome. ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਧਰੋਂ ਉੱਧਰੋਂ we listen to rumors and this kind. You have a person sitting right here. Our lines are open. You can ask him directly. And sometimes, with the politics, people try to play the game and twist the words or whatever. And I find this, being a financial planner and background in economics, that's a pretty fair game. As long as we can, with the consumer price index, and keep that with the inflation, I think that's a pretty good benchmark to have. And so my next question is, you consider to be a pro-business, pro-development kind of guy all your life, and it's a good thing, free enterprise system. And so the development, I still hear a lot of complaints about delayed permits and stuff. Before, I think it was a COVID and short staff or whatever, where we stand that? Because I before coming to the show, because a lot of my friends, because I put on a Facebook that you will be coming on my show. Let's take a call before the call. A caller, you are online.
CJ Sidhu, I have a question for Daug McCallum.
Yes, sir.
There's one question that he's going to never start with the new hospital.
Okay, ji. So, hospital bare, hanji, dooja ki
And
hai?
Eastern studio for sports.
Okay.
He
Sports.
said that Bell Center he was making in studio for
ਇਹ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਦੱਸਿਓ ਜੀ ਬੈਲ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਵਾਲਾ ਕੀ
Kabaddi.
ਅੱਛਾ ਕਬੱਡੀ ਦਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਹਾਂਜੀ
And he promised in the house Surrey Gurdwara too.
ਸਰੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਜੀ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਸਰੀ ਡੈਲਟਾ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੀ
ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਸਟੇਡੀਅਮ ਫॉर ਕਬੱਡੀ
ਉਹ ਅੱਛਾ ਜੀ so have a two thank you ji Mir will answer your question so have a two questions somebody is calling from California let me ਹਾਂਜੀ caller ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਨ ਤੇ ਹੋ
ਹਾਂਜੀ first I would like to convey thanks to Daug McCallum and I admire him. My question is that to Daug, how you are going to control the house prices in the coming years that's beyond the reach of a common person, even the apartments, even the houses, detached houses.
Okay, thank you, sir. I will answer I will ask both questions again. It's a good question and thank you very much. So let's start with the first one. So first caller have about having another hospital in Surrey.
Yeah, I have for many years been asking the provincial government. The cities don't build hospitals. That's a prerogative of the provincial government. But the cities can help a lot. And so one of the things that we brought forward a couple of years ago to the BC government, we said, and I campaigned on working with the provincial government to build a new hospital. And I'm very pleased to say that the provincial government is and did announce building a new hospital in Cloverdale in Surrey. It's going to be a fairly extensive hospital, like it's going to be a full hospital. In fact, it's going to have one of BC's leading cancer part of the hospital, and we're really pleased. I can tell you that we're pushing that. In Surrey, we don't let anything stand very long before we say we want to see it in the ground. I'm pleased to say that City Council rezoned it on a quick path just a month ago. We've already passed the rezoning, and we hope that the provincial government will be in the ground literally in a few months. They have purchased the land where the hospital is going to go, and it's all ready to start. And again, it's on a very fast track to be built. So it's really good news because we do need, with our growth, another hospital.
So let me translate that. So ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਕਾਲਰ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਸੀਗਾ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਬਾਰੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਪਰ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਵੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਉਸ 'ਚ ਰੋਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿ 2 ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਲੋਵਰਡੇਲ 'ਚ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਖਰੀਦ ਲਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ BC ਦਾ ਨਾ ਕੇਵਲ ਫੁੱਲ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਬਣਨਾ ਬਟ ਕਿ ਇਟਸ ਅ ਲੀਡਿੰਗ ਕੈਂਸਰ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਐਜ਼ ਵੈਲ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਿਟੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਕਾਫੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਹਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਜਲਦੀ ਉਸ 'ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ and the same person's second question was that you probably in a gurdwara or temple mentioned that in a bell center there will be a kabaddi maybe arena or something will be built around the sports.
Yeah, it's we are going to build a kabaddi stadium. In fact, we promised in the last campaign to do it. We're going to build it on some land we have in Bridgeview, which is right. We just finished building 3 ice rinks down there. We opened them about a year ago. In the land right beside the 3 ice rinks, we're going to build the world's most modern kabaddi field.
So it's in a Bridgeview?
Yeah, Bridgeview in Surrey. And so We have worked with the 4 different clubs in Kabaddi and Surrey so that they can design it. We wanted them to work together, the 4 clubs, to say what they wanted to see in the stadium, Kabaddi Stadium. And I'm really pleased to say that we're going to be in the ground literally in a few months in the start of building it. And in the different groups that all came together, I just got to congratulate them because they worked with our staff and our construction people so that the type of stadium we're going to be is going to be world-renowned as a Kabaddi stadium. And it's in a location where there is a lot of parking beside what we call our SkyTrain, Scott Road SkyTrain station. And so it's in a light industrial area, which also allows us, it won't interfere with townhouses and the residents and so forth. And so it's a perfect location. It's going to be a perfect facility. I'm actually looking really looking forward to opening the Kabaddi. Hopefully we planned in it. We just went over some programs on it this morning. We hope to see it into construction very soon, within months, and it should be finished in about a year.
Oh wow! So that's another good news. Caller, इन्होंने कहा कि अपने जड़ा बेल सेंटर तो नहीं, पर इन्होंने कहा वर्ल्ड क्लास कबड्डी स्टेडियम जड़ा हैगा आ, वो बनना है ब्रिज व्यू एरिया च. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਸਕਾਟ ਰੋਡ ਸਕਾਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਸਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਪਰਲੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਲਾਈਟ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀਅਲ ਏਰੀਆ ਆ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ 3 ਕਲੱਬਸ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਕਾਫੀ ਹੈਲਪਫੁਲ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਉਸ 'ਤੇ ਵਰਕ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ. ਐਂਡ ਇਨ ਅ ਫਿਊ ਮੰਥਸ it will be starting on work on that, and it will be a world class kabaddi. I think it might be one of the unique ones because I don't see the governments or city are making kabaddi stadiums because it's a traditionally Indian game.
Yeah.
but it's played worldwide.
Yeah, no, there isn't very many cities, but we have a very large population of Indo-Canadians, and so it's a game they love, and I've been at many of the tournaments they have, and I really enjoy watching it and so forth. I'm getting a little older to take part in it, but you know what? I'm in pretty good shape.
I can still play kabaddi. I used to actually. I used to play kabaddi in India and sports pretty high level, but like you said, the priority change. That's a good thing. It will be nice if you go there when at the opening we might do a gesture of playing kabaddi. So, anyways, the second caller, first of all, he appreciated the work you do, and he thanked. Even it's a California number, but a lot of callers use because the truckers and people use California phone number, so it came as number from California. But I think he was a local guy, and he talked about house prices. I think this is a concern. Every time I talk to federal politician, provincial, you're a city politician, it's getting out of control.
Well, the land prices, which is what driving the actually prices for the houses and townhouses, is escalating unbelievably, and there's going to be a time that it's going to have to put some brakes on the price and so forth, because it's getting out of control. But what we have found in Surrey, because of our high growth and everything, is that the living type of location that people are doing has been changing. And in other words, the single family house is not so much anymore because it's way too expensive. And so what's happening is, in the majority of housing that we build now, is townhouses, but the townhouses are large townhouses, and so they're just about the size of some of the smaller houses and so forth. Because I mentioned earlier, we're a younger city, and we have younger people living in our city and coming to our city, and they like the townhouses, and because they're very mobile also, and so that's why they like rapid transit. It's why they love, we're building SkyTrain, And you know, we're very also sensitive to the environment in Surrey. I was asked to go to the COB International Environment thing as a keynote speaker, and what we're doing in Surrey to protect the environment in Surrey. And so we're trying to really protect the environment. So the younger people are driving. For example, Surrey has the largest amount of electric cars in Canada. And we're encouraging that. We just put a ban on all plastic grocery bags effective in a month's time. And you know what? All the big stores, all the big grocery stores, all the other stores, all jumped on board and agreed with us that we're the first city in BC to ban plastic shopping bags. But the stores, the grocery stores, they enjoyed it. They helped us. They want to do the same thing. But, you know, the price of houses is only based a lot of times on demand and the shortage of land and so forth. And so we also are trying to build a lot of houses for the people coming in. I can give you an example. We have just finished building in the last 6 months 16 high-rise towers in our city center, 16. We have another 16 that we're in construction right at this time. These high-rises are 40 stories, 45 stories. They're sort of, a lot of them are one-bedroom suites and so forth. To give you an example, last weekend there was one tower that had at 50 stories and had close to 500 one-bedroom suites in it, sold out in 3 days. 3 days.
Wow.
And so there's a big demand for that, but that's a lower cost for people is in that, and younger people like that. That's why they're doing it. Then we have the other form of townhouses. Then we also have some single-family houses. And then we have some larger houses, which different cultures love because they have 3 generations in that. And I fully support those because, you know, they want to help their different generations. Yes. So because we have a mixture of housing, we've been able to at least try to slow down the thing. But I think in any country in the world, when you have so many people wanting to live in your city and work in your city, the prices are going to go up. But I think we're doing a good job of trying to control them anyways.
ਸੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਾਲਰ ਨੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਅਫੋਰਡੇਬਿਲਿਟੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਐਂਡ ਦਾ ਹਾਊਸ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੇਨ ਕੰਸਰਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਸਰਨ ਹੈ। ਮੇਰੇ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਪੁਸ਼ਿੰਗ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਲੈਂਡ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸ ਉਹ ਪੁਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸ ਐਂਡ ਪਲੱਸ ਦਾ ਡਿਮਾਂਡ। ਸੋ ਉਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਇਸ 'ਤੇ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਲਾਉਣੀ ਪੈਣੀ ਹੈ। ਐਂਡ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਸਮੋਲਰ ਯੂਨਿਟਸ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਟਾਊਨ ਹਾਊਸਿਸ ਬਣਾਉਣੇ ਹੈ, ਸਮੋਲਰ ਹਾਊਸਿਸ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਰੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਯੰਗੈਸਟ ਸਿਟੀ ਇਨ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਯੰਗੈਸਟ ਪੀਪਲ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ। ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਲਈ ਰੈਪਿਡ ਟਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਨਵਾਇਰਮੈਂਟ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਬੜਾ ਸੈਂਸਿਟਿਵ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਕਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ। ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਮੇਅਰ ਵੈਂਟ out of country to talk about on environment and plus that you seen all over the ban on the plastic bags. Now you have a paper bags and so ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ environment ਲਈ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟਾਵਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ 16 ਹਾਈ ਰਾਈਜ਼ਸ ਟਾਵਰਸ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਬਣ ਗਏ ਆ, 16 ਹੋਰ ਬਣ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਟਾਵਰ ਜਿਹਦੇ 50 ਫਲੋਰਸ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਉੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੰਗਲ ਬੈਡਰੂਮ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੌਂਡੋ ਸੀ ਵਿਦਿਨ 3 days were sold out. So it's a growing city and with the growing pains. And obviously, right? And so Mayor, we have about 3-4 minutes left. And like we talked about before the show, we can go another hour easily because, you know, you have to come more often on my show. First of all, thank you for coming on my show and sharing your views, your final comments, because there's a lot of, the permits is one issue you can address and any other issue you want our viewers to know.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting, and thank you for all your listeners and viewers out there. You know, I just love the people in Surrey. I just, every day I enjoy meeting them and talking to them, and it's such a pleasure when we have such a dynamic, vibrant, energy city, and the people in it are just loving to live in our city. Our growth in the planning process, we had to change because we needed to do a lot faster. So we went out and we got in Canada the fastest approval times of any city in Canada. We found them in Toronto and in Calgary. And so we have just installed that literally 3 weeks ago, the fastest times of processing of development permits and bylaws and so forth in all of Canada. And so to give you an example, rezoning, which took months and sometimes, we will now guarantee it at 10 weeks. Development permits, 10 weeks. Tenant improvements, which is big in Surrey because under COVID, a lot of people wanted to fix their houses up. They were really getting out of control and so forth. And those are the little people. We want to help the little people. They just want to redo their kitchen or something.
Yes, yes.
So we also now are guaranteeing 10 weeks on a permit, which is literally the fastest in Canada. We're determined as a city to help people out, especially, for instance, building things or in tenant improvements.
ਸੋ ਮੇਅਰ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਉਣ ਲਈ ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਰਮਿਟਸ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੀ ਬੜੀ ਕੰਪਲੇਂਟ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਰੀਸੈਂਟਲੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਾਸਟੈਸਟ ਅਪਰੂਵਲ ਟਾਈਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ 3 ਵੀਕਸ ਅਗੋ ਇੰਪਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਦੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰੀਜੋਨਿੰਗ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ 10 ਵੀਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਪਰਮਿਟ ਹੈ ਵਿਦਿਨ 10 ਵੀਕਸ ਐਂਡ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟੈਨੈਂਟ ਇੰਪਰੂਵ ਹੈ 10 ਵੀਕਸ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਲੀਵਰ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਸੋ ਪਰਮਿਟ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਪੀਡ ਬੈਕ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਵਾਈਬਰੈਂਟ ਸਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਇਟਸ ਅ lot of energy, lot of good things, lot of positive things are happening. My last question, Mayor. Election are coming next year. Or you will be ready to run again?
Yes, I'm running. Our whole team's running. And we've already started our campaign. It's a year away yet. It's just about exactly a year away. And so, but we're exciting. I mean, that's the time that I really get really vibrant about because it's up to the people to decide. And so we can say what we promise and we've done, and we'll be saying what we're going to do if we get elected, and then we'll get it done again. So I love elections because it's a time that we can talk to the people a lot more.
Well, thank you once again, Mayor, and I think we need to do more of these, so viewers can find out about our mayor's point of view about the city and where we are heading. So mayor ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫੇਰ ਲੜਨੇ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ 'ਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਦੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਸਾਂਝੇ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਸੋ ਮੇਰੀ ਅੱਜ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਮੇਅਰ ਆਫ ਸਰੀ ਡਗ ਮੈਕੈਲਮ ਅਤੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਪਡੇਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਸਿਟੀ ਪਰਮਿਟਸ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਅਫੋਰਡੇਬਿਲਟੀ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਇਨਵਾਇਰਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਇਸੇ ਹੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਐਕਟਿਵਿਸਟ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਸ਼ੀਅਨਸ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਪਰ ਹਾਲੇ ਤੱਕ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਬ੍ਰੇਕਸ ਰੱਖਣੀ ਹੈ ਬਾਹਲੀ ਖੁੱਲ੍ਹ 'ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਮਾਸਕ ਇਨਸਾਈਡ ਪਾਓ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੈਕਸੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਵਾਇਆ ਲਵਾਓ ਫਲੂ ਸ਼ਾਟ ਲਵਾਓ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਡਿਸਟੈਂਸਿੰਗ ਰੱਖੋ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਪੋਸੀਬਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਐਂਡ ਹਾਈਜੀਨ ਦਾ ਆਪਦਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਰੱਖੋ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੈਲਥ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਵੈਲਥ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੈਲਥੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਵੀ ਲਿਵ ਏ good life. So, Rab Rakha, have a wonderful, happy, healthy weekend. Sat Sri Akal.